Welcome to the Voices of the Goddess podcast. We believe that there is a goddess inside each and every one of us. When we use our voice to share that goddess, we support and uplift each other. Join us each week as we interview women to receive the message of their goddess within. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Voices of the Goddess podcast, where we empower, inspire, and uplift women to be the goddesses they were meant to be. I am Julietta, your co-host, also known as the Magical PT, coming to you from sunny Fort Lauderdale. And here I have my own private PT practice where I don't just look at your body, but your mind, body, spirit connection and how that all works together. And, because the bottom line is everything that's physically wrong with us has an emotional side to it as well. And if you're not going to look at that side, you're just going to keep having problems forever and ever. In addition to doing that, I make jewelry, I paint art. I'm an author, soon to be a second-time author. And what else? I'm a Midwestern girl at heart. Doesn't matter how long I live in Florida. Wisconsin is always home. And yeah, enough about me. Hi, Allison.
My blood thinks that Florida's home because when I go back to Michigan, I freeze. But I know for you that is not true. I know your blood's like
not at all.
Belongs in Wisconsin. So my name is Allison Mancini. I'm excited to be here today. And I am a mom to two amazing adults, 25 and 22. And I am a wife to an amazing husband. I had to think for a second. Why did that stumble over that? We have been together over 30 years, married for 28. And I am human resources and operation director at the Gold Digger Girl. And we are, the Gold Digger Girl is a company that helps women show up authentically on social media. I'm also a functional nutritionist. And that's where I really love what I get to do is I get to tie all that beauty together, support the women on staff, support the students that we have through nutrition. And I'm also almost an author. I just need to start saying I'm an author. I'm not even going to say almost because who knows? No one knows the difference. I am an author and I think that, and a Michigan girl. I lived here because that's what everybody always does.
You do. Well, Wisconsin also looks like this too. So we're like two mittens together. We're a pair.
And then you can do like the Upper Peninsula looks like this or something like, I don't know. Anyways.
Oh man. Anyway, we have a sponsor.
Yes, we do.
Bowtie Kids, Courage and Confidence for Kids with Chronic Pain is an impact-driven, for-purpose organization committed to enhancing the lives of youth suffering with chronic pain and their families. Its mission is to inspire courage and confidence in youth living with chronic pain and their families by transforming lives through personal development, community building, and gardening to build a sustainable quality life. On May 26th, you can join them for Courage and Confidence Awards to celebrate and honor community leaders who have been courageous and confident in taking on their own lives to serve and support others. You can purchase tickets, bid on silent auction items, enter the raffle, or donate to support their work at www.bowtiekids.org. And like I've said, I will be there. So if you want to see me, hey, if you're listening and you haven't met me in person and you actually want to meet me, come to the awards. And the other really cool thing is I do have an auction item with them that includes a bunch of my work. You get a session with me. One of my malas is in there, a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So if you can't be there, you can still bid on my basket and get it.
Yeah. I would love that basket. That's right up my alley. And you're going to have to just disclaimer here that the dogs may start barking. And if they do, I will politely mute myself.
So
What's up?
So I'm actually like a little, I don't even know what the right word is for what I'm feeling. It's a little bit overwhelmed. It's a little bit excited and nervous. And we've talked about that too, how like excited and nervous are, they really are the same energy, just a different way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm. They feel the same in the body, right?
Right.
The same. Yeah.
But, so, we've talked about all along, I have my artsy creative side where I make jewelry, malas, paintings, soul candy, etc. And it's always been a hobby. Hi, puppy. And, I've spoken for many years about, like this could actually be a business, but I was always very wishy-washy about it. And last week, maybe even the week before, I made the decision to go all in 100%. I hired my web designer to create my online shop. And like I realized I needed to do this because I need to declare to the universe that I'm serious about this. I've just been putzing around and da-da-da, and oh, it's not going as, because I hadn't committed. So I'm committed now.
So will this shop have your crystals and malas?
It's gonna, everything that I have for sale. There will be, my paintings will be on there, my malas will be on there, the pendants will be on there, the soul candy will be on there.
That's awesome.
All going to be on there for purchase.
Listen, we both know, because that's how this podcast started, you just got to do it. You just have to take action. It may not be perfect and it may not be, exactly how you want it, but that's how you learn. It's how you grow. You know that.
Absolutely.
So congratulations.
Yeah, because it's a financial investment to do that.
Of course.
And that makes it a little bit scary, but if I don't do it, then it's just going to sit there and,
the return, the ROI is there. So you just have to keep that in mind. I think it's awesome. Congratulations. And I can't wait to share it with our audience.
So, but I also want to encourage our audience, whatever that thing that they have that they're doing, like, it's time. Just go all in, declare to the universe that this is going to happen, and it will. As long as you're putzing around, it ain't gonna happen.
It's like walking past that penny, right? Nowadays we walk when we were kids, you would pick up a penny. I can't remember the saying, but anyways, you pick up a penny. Nowadays,
a penny, pick it up, and all day you'll have good luck.
Good luck. There you go. Nowadays, we walk past a penny and we're like, meh, it's not worth. I mean, what are we going to get for a penny? But that's what you're putting out to the universe if you don't pick it up. When you pick it up and take it in and go, oh, I just found a penny. Oh my gosh. Then you're putting that like gratitude and abundance and drawing all that energy to you. So I think it's awesome. Congratulations. And yes, audience, if you're listening, do that thing.
All right. Let's bring our guest on.
Yes, absolutely. Hello, Nancy.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm all about doing that thing, by the way.
Yeah. Have to. We learned perfectly imperfect. Take the action. It will all flow.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
So take a minute, Nancy, and introduce yourself to our audience. Let them know who you are and what you do.
Great. Well, I'm a master integrative life coach, and I'm the author of the internationally best-selling book, Bigger, Better, Braver, Conquer Your Fears, Embrace Your Courage, and Transform Your Life. And so going out there and taking that leap and doing it and trusting in the universe, my book is a step-by-step how to do that. So, Julietta, you looks like you're already doing it, but that's what the book is all about.
Awesome. I love it. It was like, when we decide what we're going to talk about, it's funny how it wasn't done intentionally that we would match this up, but it just matched up.
The universe does it. Right? There are no coincidences, right? It all happens as it should. It all unfolds as it should. So I also, when you guys were talking before about nervous and excited, I use the word nerve-sighted. And so I never will say I'm nervous because it's the same hormones, but it's a different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So I either just say I'm excited, even though in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, you might be a little nervous, but I don't say that. Or I use the word nerve-sighted so that I kind of got them both going on.
Must start using that.
I love making up words.
So
I'm going to use your word now.
I love that nerve-sighted. I think the first time I ever had that when I was reading a book, I think it was Jen Sicero's, I forget the
badass, right?
Yeah, the badass one. I think I was reading that, and she talks about that, how it's actually, when you think about it, being scared and being excited really feel the same in your body. It's just how you're thinking about it. And so the next time I had to speak in front of a group of people, I was like, this is not nervous. This is excited. Yeah. And it really did make a difference, but I love nerve-sighted. I'm going to have to start using that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like being your own badass or something. I just actually reread it, so I can't remember, but it's a great book. Yeah. It's a really good book. I agree.
Well, speaking of books, what is one book that you wish every goddess would read and why?
The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. It's really my go-to. I mean, I have a lot of books I like. I'm a Debbie Ford coach, so all of her books I really like too. But Michael Singer's book was the book I read after my divorce, and it got me out of being the victim in my story. And more importantly, it taught me how to be the observer instead of the reactor. And so when you become the observer, you get an opportunity to look and say, well, why am I feeling that way? Or why am I so triggered? Or what's the wound in me that just got triggered from this? And then I get to do some work, and that takes away the power. And so now I get to respond instead of react. So I used to be this, I'd write these big bad emails, or, I would just text off a bad thing. And that was my wounded child. And so now I get to step back and not do that, take a breath, ask myself some questions on how else can I see this, and what else can it mean, and how else could that person have meant it? And that really dissipates the energy. So I highly recommend the book.
And as I'm hearing you talk, and all of those concepts we talk about often here on the show, and I'm just thinking, I think she's the first person that actually brought up that book. Am I right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm kind of going, how is it possible that all these episodes, and this is the first time that book, because I love that book. It's a great book.
Oh, I'm so glad I brought it up.
Yes.
Yeah, she said it, and I was like, oh, yeah, no one's even mentioned it.
I'm actually like shocked that no one has mentioned that book so far, because it is, yeah, you got to read it. You got to read it.
It's a great book. And every time you read it, because I think I've read it 3 or 4 times, and I just recently read it, and it was all about the open heart and staying open-hearted. And actually, I didn't even remember that was even part of it. So you hear different things. You hear what you need every time you read it. Yeah, interesting.
I think it's time for me to have a reread of that.
So good.
Yeah. Whew. All right. So our next question for you, Nancy, is because as women, we tend to forget to take care of ourselves, and we're really trying to get the message out there that it's important to find time and take care of yourself. What is your top self-care practice, and how does it support you?
Well, I do this every morning before I get out of bed, and I say to myself, what's the most self-honoring thing I can do for myself today? It gets me out of autopilot. It gets me to think about something I want to do that day that supports me. So, I don't even use exercise because I do that every day, but it could be, I need to get a massage, or there's a doctor's, I need to call, or there's a friend I haven't spoken to, something that pops me out of autopilot and makes me think about what can I do today? What's going to honor me and support me today? And it always does.
I love that. And just because I think we all do get in this autopilot every day, and to get out of that and get intentional with every day is super important. That's
Exactly.
I like that.
And also self-care is self-honoring. You know, you have to make yourself a priority. So I'm also a boundary coach. It's all about setting healthy boundaries, and it starts with self-care. So it's a great question you guys bring up.
It's like I always say to people, it's just like when you get on an airplane, and we've all heard this, you have to put your mask on first before you help people next to you, your kids or whatever.
Yeah.
Same idea. And I learned that the hard way. I wasn't taking care of myself, and I was doing so much when my kids were little. My daughter had a lot of medical issues, and I literally was almost in complete adrenal failure because I had spent so much time taking care and stressed out, never taking care. I mean, oh my gosh, Julietta, if you had met me back then, you'd be like, who is this person? I was the pizza eating, Lucky Charms, hanging out. Yeah, it's rough. But yeah, very important.
Self-care. Yeah, I hear you. I got adrenal fatigue from over-exercising.
Oh yeah, I know that too. Yeah.
Where most people, their self-care is to exercise. Mm-hmm. My self-care is to not do more than 2 things in a day. That's athletic. You know, I can hike and play pickleball, but I can't hike and play pickleball and go to yoga. You know, so it's really, because I'm addicted to exercise, I do have to control it. So you have to know what your self-care needs are.
I knew women like that in my yoga classes. They would have just come from running 5 miles, and then they would do yoga. And after yoga, they would go and they would do a cycling class, and then they'd be back for like a stretching. I was like,
right.
Holy cow. Yeah. Intense.
I know.
So,
well, I live in Colorado. It's like that. It's like a playground.
Yeah, true. I can see that. It's too hot here to do stuff like that outside.
Right.
Especially right now. All right. Our next question is, we all have difficult days, but we still need to show up and get things done. How do you rise up on those difficult days and get done what you need?
I think there's a lot of self-talk. I think that I stay in alignment with the things I say I'm going to do, so I can push myself to do those things. And also because I coach, I hold myself to this level of, I don't ask people to do anything that I don't do myself. So that's an integrity thing that keeps me doing things even when I don't want to. And I might have to regulate my emotions because of something that might be coming up. So to make it so I can actually do the things I say I'm going to do, I might need to take a breather or meditate or go for a walk or do something to pop me up out of that mood so I can take care of the things that I want to take care of. But I'm pretty good at staying in alignment because I coach and I also coach coaches, and both of those things help me. Like, I can't ask you to do something I can't do myself, or I won't do myself. So for the most part, it works. I'm not perfect. I'm human. Another makeup word. I love my awesomeness and my flossomeness.
Awesomeness. I love this.
I do too.
I make up words all the time, but I think like I'm the only weird one making up words. So I love that you're making up words too, Nancy.
It's fun.
It is. Absolutely.
I'm literally writing down flossomeness right now because that's
okay. You can use it.
All right. The next question we have for you, and we know that there's probably many, but what is one life experience that has played a role in forming who you are today?
My divorce, because it broke me. And, I was married 26 years, and I loved my husband, and I loved my life, and I loved the family unit I had put together. And when my husband no longer wanted me, then I no longer wanted me. So I had to learn again who I was, and that it really wasn't about me. And I had to learn to trust myself and love myself all over again. And for the first time, actually, to become self-referenced instead of other referenced. So it was a long haul to get to the woman I am today. And that was the impetus, I had no choice.
Right. I bet. My mom went through, I'm sure, probably similar. She was married to my dad for 24 years and had built everything around him and our family. And I mean, I don't know, because I was only 12 then, but as I look at it now as an adult woman, I can see how she probably went through very similar that you did.
Yeah. But, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. That's the good news.
This is true. And I also, with that, because one of my big realizations of recent years was, I've always prided myself on being super strong and super independent, and then having that realization that me telling the story over and over again about how strong I am, how independent I am, I was creating a life that proved how strong and independent I was. And so letting go of I don't have to prove that anymore. It's okay to not be strong and independent, and it's okay to ask others for help. And so all of those things have two sides that, back to the Michael Singer book, you step back and look at things and look at them differently and what else is possible. So
for sure. And those beliefs they're just beliefs. They're not truths.
Exactly.
Right? They're the stories we tell ourselves. That's actually another great book is Who Not How. So you think you have to do everything yourself, and how can I do it? And I'm going to do it on myself. But maybe it's a matter of who can help me do this, or who can I get to do this? Because then that gives me more time to do something else.
Oh, and that was one of the things that with all the things that I'm taking on in my life, who can I get to do some of these things? Because I 100% recognize that there's not enough of me and not enough time in my life to accomplish all these things. So there are going to have to be other people that do some of these things for me so that I can accomplish all the stuff I want to accomplish.
Right. So and we're not superwomen.
I might ask you to do something for me.
Okay. The reality is we're not superwomen. We don't need to be superwomen. And we need to be okay with asking for help and hiring people who are better at the things that they do so we can be better at the things that we do. Give up the things that we're not as good at. And that's hard for women. Especially women who own businesses. They think they have to know it all, and it's not true. You just have to know who to hire.
Exactly. Great tips. So, Nancy, from our time here together, if there was one message that you want our audience to take away with them, what would that be?
That successful people are not people who don't have fears, and that nobody is really living in a fearless state. We all have fears, but those of us who are successful have learned to use fear as a motivating force. We take it with us and we use faith to move forward with our fear. So we're never going to get to a fearless state. And I always feel there are so many people that are living in their fears instead of living in their faith. And it's just the faith that everything's going to work out. So it doesn't mean it's all going to work out and you're never going to fail. But if you fail, you're falling forward and you're going to learn from it. It's a stepping stone. And so that's really it, is that nobody's fearless, and nobody waits. If you wait until you're in a fearless state to move, you're going to be sitting on that couch forever.
Absolutely. And you talked about, failing isn't really failing. You fail forward, but for many years of my life, the fear of failure, not being able to do something perfect the first time, stopped me from doing so many things. And thankfully, somewhere along the journey here as an adult, I got over that need to do everything perfectly. And Allison and I say all the time, this podcast would not exist if we held ourselves to this has to be perfect. And just get in there and do it. And it's nobody's fearless. We all just, can you choose to walk through the fear? And it's the only way to accomplish all your dreams and get to where you want to be.
And the juice is in the journey. So stop putting your thoughts on the success at the end and just enjoy the journey and the growth along the way.
Absolutely. That's a topic that has come up more than once today, but it is all about the journey. And, there's a destination that you're going to, there's a goal that you're going to, but if that's the only place your focus is, you're going to miss out on the juice, as you said.
Exactly.
Love that.
Thank you.
So we want to thank you, Nancy, for joining us here today. You've had lots of great little bites of wisdom there for our audience, and I'm sure that they appreciate those. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And also want to put a huge thank you out there to Bowtie Kids for sponsoring us this month. An amazing organization helping these kids living with pain. And so please reach out and support them. And thank you also to our audience, because without you, this would be pointless. So if you've enjoyed what you've heard today, please subscribe, follow, like, share, all that good stuff to get the word out there. And if you'd like to get in touch with Nancy or Allison and myself, check the show notes. All of our website, social media, contact information can be found there. So super easy to find us and get in touch with us. We would love to hear from you. And with that, I would like to wish everybody a magical day.